Welcome everyone to our 24th episode. This is a space where I want to empower you all to be relationship experts. I'm Kimi Oshasadi, founder of Love Story. Bit of background about me: I have a master's in clinical behavioral psychology, specializing in relationships. I've published psychology papers on relationships. I've been happily married for almost 5 years and helped more than about 100 people with their relationships. So one thing about this space is at any point in time, if you want to speak, it's more than welcome. We learn so much more when we hear each other's voices and learn from each other and hear each other's perspectives. If you have a story you want to share, there's a comment you have, or there's a question you have, this is the space for you to speak. If you want to, that's perfectly fine and really encouraged. So keep that in mind. So today's topic is how to react to your partner's pain. And this is something we all have to deal with. And it comes up in life. So let's learn some skills around it, because we know we don't learn this stuff in school and we have to start somewhere. So I don't assume anyone to know this information before. We actually also have a special guest with us today. We have Zal here. Better call Zal.
Yay!
Welcome.
Thank you for having me here. Appreciate it. And I think it's a great topic. And there's lots to talk about. So excited for us to be here. And thank you for this opportunity.
Awesome. Yeah, he's here in person with me. He's at our place. So that's really awesome when, we know people in person as well as know them on Twitter. That's awesome. Okay, so with how to react to your partner's pain. Let's try and establish kind of some parameters where we start off with, because this is a really big topic and pain can be caused by a lot of different things. So mainly for today, we're going to tackle the standpoint of external pain that's not related to your partner hurting you. So it's something external. Maybe it's a workplace, maybe you're a veteran, maybe it's your mother-in-law, sister-in-law, or your own brother. Anything external that's affecting you, that's made you upset. Another thing to clarify kind of more in detail of what we're going to talk about is there's physical pain and there's also emotional pain. So we're going to cover both of those today. And yes, to get us thinking, I'm going to give you the answer to how to react to someone's pain. So I'm going to give you straight up the answer. But it's even when we know the answer, it's really hard to apply it and remember to apply it. And in the situation, become aware that this is the thing we need to remember. So we're going to practice it lots together. And, we're going to give real life examples of my husband and I. And we're also going to go through some real Reddit questions together and apply these skills and see how we do. All right, so let's jump in. So the answer to how to react to your partner's pain is to ask them what they appreciate and not assume that you know. So something I like to say that Armand and I, my husband, we read in an article was, you don't want to be in assumption alley. You want to be on innovation highway. The assumption alley is the main thing here. So we're just assuming, and most people actually show support in the way that they want to receive support. In love as well. A lot of these things, we give people what we want to receive. And that's very similar to what's going on here as well. So we have to figure out what they want. Examples of what someone might want is, listening in silence, holding their hand, looking into their eyes. Maybe they want some solutions. Maybe they don't. Maybe they want your opinion. Maybe they don't. Maybe they want to hear your reaction. Maybe they just want a hug, or they want to feel emotionally supported, or do you interrupt them while they're speaking? Do you not? Do they think it's engaging if you interrupt? Do they want to be defended in the future? Do they want you to take action? All of these things is crucial to figure out what they want. So let's start with physical pain. This is a real life example, and I'm going to get my husband to come on in a second and explain this in a little more detail. This happened in the last 12 months. We were playing this game called Throw Burrito. And it involves running if there's a burrito brawl or a burrito war. And so we were running, we had socks on, we were in a basement, and he fell pretty badly. And I was just, I don't know, I thought he was paralyzed. I thought he hit his head, he had a head injury. I had no idea what was going on. It was just really scary for me.
And he never moved again.
No, he didn't move again. He's right here. He's fine. But at the time, I was really freaking out. And he was holding his head and he yelled. And my immediate reaction was to just come down to the floor and say, "Are you okay? Where does it hurt? Does your head hurt?" And I was just bombarding him with these questions. And yes, I see your request. Awesome. I'm just going to quickly accept this invitation to speak. Awesome. Yeah, whenever you want to share a story or a comment or a question, feel free. That's always amazing when people do. So he's on the floor and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? What's wrong? Is it your head?" And I'm asking him all these questions. And he, just kind of yelled back in a loud voice, "Be quiet." And it kind of like startled me and I got really upset. But, I realized like he was upset first and I needed to like make sure he's okay before we addressed like what happened. And then, yeah, afterwards, like we had the conversation to see what was going on. And I think from this point forward, I want Armand to tell the rest of the story and to just explain what was going on in your head when like you hurt yourself. And I'm like trying to show my care and support when you're in physical pain, but like it was not received well.
So we were playing throw burrito. I was running after Kimia, trying to throw this burrito at her, and I slipped and I fell in this basement. And the basement, I don't know if it was like concrete or something. Like I fell on my ribs. Yeah. It was real bad. Like I got like winded. I couldn't breathe. It hurts really bad. And then like suddenly through some haze of whatever, I just hear like someone being like, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Oh my God, what's going on?" And it's just like, I don't know. I was like, I'm going through all this stuff, right? Like it's just like I'm not like consciously thinking about this. I'm like, but like this, I hear this like person who's very concerned and who has like a very like, I don't know, like very urgent, very like distressed tone, and I'm already not in a good place, right? I can't breathe. My ribs really hurt. I'm in a lot of pain, and yeah, it wasn't helpful. It was just more stuff. Now, in addition to dealing with my own pain, I needed to like soothe this other person's emotions. So, yeah, I lashed out. It's probably not a good thing to do. There are better ways I could have like expressed my emotions. It just felt like this rising tide where I was like, ah! Yeah. So, and then like kind of ideally what would have happened is like, ideally in that moment, I feel like I need help. I'm not, I don't have the capacity to help even myself. I can't, help her, feel less distressed about me. So ideally she would have been like, "Hey, if you need something, let me know." And just like sat there next to me. Like that would have been great. I'd be like, "All right, wow, like I'm in pain. This is real terrible. But this other person, like, I got someone here for me if I need something." So yeah.
Nice. So yes, doing it again, I would have done so much better. So if I did it again, let's see, I would make sure that I would be next to him and I would be like, "If you need anything, I'm here," in like a lower tone, in a better tone, more quiet.
And she also brought up a point, like she didn't really see how I fell. She didn't know if I hit my head or something like that. So it's like something like, give me a thumbs up if you didn't hit your head, because if something really bad happened to me, maybe she needs to like call the hospital. So that's important too.
Yeah. There's an extreme situation of maybe emotional pain that doesn't happen to everyone, but I just wanted to cover that area because sometimes we stub our toe or like we hurt ourselves. That's the thing that happens, and like maybe someone just appreciates a hug in that moment rather than a lot of words, or I don't know, anything. And we honestly don't know until we ask. I know I didn't know until I asked, and yeah, so just remember that one. We got to ask. With emotional pain, another example I can give from our own lives from that one is I've unfortunately worked in workplaces where my managers have not treated me well, and that was a really hard thing I had to go through. And I was born and raised in Melbourne, Australia, and I moved to the United States, and it happened again in the United States. And thank goodness that the next place I went to treated me really well, but the place before, the first place that I worked in the United States, also treated me really horribly, and I just like it was a lot. And I was doing pretty much my master's for the second time in the US, and yeah, it was really hard for me. And this person was in a position of power, and they could really abuse the situation. And so I was venting quite a bit to my husband about the situation, and he was giving me a lot of great solutions, and some of them were really helpful, and I did use them. But I feel like the main thing I needed was the emotional support, and making me feel heard and having my back. And I'm just like, in all transparency, I appreciate someone's talking smack about the person that's hurting me. And that's something I really needed, because I don't do that. And I just feel like I want someone to have my back in that way and give me a warm hug and say everything's going to be okay. And, is there anything I can do, rather than coming up with all the solutions. So that was, yeah. So I was trying to say that's what I needed, but I was getting a lot of solutions from my husband. And so I'll give the phone, the speaker back to you. And just if you want to kind of communicate to everyone, what was your experience like for you? Like you thought I would feel supported the way you were helping me. And then how was it hearing that I need something else, and like wrapping your head around that and trying to, I don't know, do that like just your experience?
Yeah, kind of in a word or in a sentence, it's like
all of it.
it just didn't really compute for me. It took me kind of like a while to understand like this is actually something she appreciates and I'm actually doing something useful. I still have trouble. Like if like someone does something bad to her, like it's really hard for me to like, I don't know, be like, that person sucks. I hope that someone gives them a bad haircut, you know? Like whatever. And yeah, it's just, you know, it took a lot of getting used to, because I'm a little bit different. You know, if I come to you with a problem, you know, the best thing you could do is make it disappear. I have a problem, and then I end the conversation, and I don't have the problem anymore. That would be great. As far as like, you know, I think there were some times where Kimio was like, "Oh my God, this person sucks so much. I can't believe they didn't do it, or they did this or did do that." And in my head, it was just like, once again, I feel like I still have this problem, and now I gotta like, you know, talk my wife down from like, you know, I don't know, like talk down her emotions. It was just more work, I guess, is what it felt like.
Because it didn't come naturally.
Because yeah, it didn't come naturally. It still doesn't come naturally. There's some times where I'll be like in the middle of saying something and I'll be like, "Oh yes," and they're bad. I don't know. There's just a lot of awareness where when Kimio says something, someone did something to her, I really have to like pause and be like, "All right, this is the situation. Like this is this pattern where she says that someone like did something mean to her. I need to like be like, okay, this is not a logical thing. This is an emotional thing. I can't logic my way out of making this situation better, and I need to make her feel better. And she's told me the way to do that is, you know, to talking smack about this person. So what smack with the limited information I have can I can I say?
And I would be like, ramp it up by like 100%.
Yeah, I'd be like, I hope they get a bad haircut, and she'd be like, you know, you mean I don't even know. She's like, I hope they get a bad mentor who doesn't listen to whatever. I don't know. I'm not very good at it, but I'm trying.
Yeah. And it takes time to practice these things. And sometimes your partner might be experiencing depression or something like really horrible that they're going through, or like a traumatic memory they're thinking of, and you haven't been through that exact thing. And sometimes your solutions are not going to be on point. And a lot of the time, you don't have the right words to help someone, to be there for them. And the best thing you can do, well, again, always double check, because I can be making generalizations here, but sometimes just even like holding someone's hand and just looking in their eyes and them not feeling alone is a really huge thing, or just telling them everything's going to be okay. And even saying, like, if you can't even think of the right words, even saying, I don't have the right words for this moment, but I really feel for you and I want to be there for you. Or just, it's okay to be transparent with what you're thinking. A lot of the time, there is no perfect thing to say, but if you can make someone feel supported, and it doesn't necessarily have to be through solutions, it can be really powerful. And I think, like, for example, if Armand did that, he would be so surprised and he'd be like, that's all I had to do. And I would be like, yep, that's all it was. And it wouldn't make sense to him. But yeah, we need different things at different times. And with every new person, it's different. So I know from memory, sometimes when we would talk, he would ask me or I would ask him, is this like a time that you want solutions, or do you want like support? Do you want me to listen? And like we literally check in during the conversation with each other to just double check what we can do for the other person in that moment. I know even me, like I also project what I want in support and love, and I would get it wrong. So for example, the exact reverse, like Armand would be upset with something, I don't know, work related or anything related, and then I get so mad at this person that's causing him emotional pain, and I start talking smack about them. And then Armand's like, this isn't helping me, I don't operate like that.
I'm like, what do you think I should do? They suck.
Yeah. So that's not very helpful. So I'm highlighting these things so you can see that we all kind of do this sort of thing, and it's totally okay. Just if you notice they're not appreciating what you're saying so much, it's completely normal. We just got to figure out what the other person wants and appreciates, and you'll be okay. I want to bring up Mr. Magic Man, because I know there was something this week, actually, if you're open to coming up, I don't know. But if you wanted to share your thoughts on this topic. Just give him a moment, just in case he feels brave enough to come up. Okay, we'll let him be. But there was a situation that we came across where something bad happened, and do we give solutions or do we give something else? And that's something that we have to kind of navigate, because with a new person we really don't know. And so yeah, that was something that we had to explore this week. Any questions at this point with anyone on this topic of being there for someone while they're in pain, either emotionally or physically? Anything at all? This would be the perfect time to bring it up. Okay.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
We'll switch it on to me, maybe.
Just use mine.
Oh my.
Okay, yeah, just go down from speaker.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. Sorry
Okay.
about that. So my question would be, you were saying earlier about responding to someone's pain, something you haven't been through, but I would want to go a little more on that. How do you, if there's something that your partner decides that they are comfortable telling you, let's say about their past or something that did happen to them very recently, what's one way that, if there's no way you can really even comprehend how that has affected them, how you can be there and emotionally support that person?
Yeah. Really good question to ask, because this can come up really frequently. You get to know someone and they trust you and they start being vulnerable with you, and the same with you in return to them. And at some point you're going to hear something that you haven't been through yourself, that this person's going through. And I think it's really important to first of all acknowledge like the level of trust that you've built with this person, where they feel comfortable enough to tell you. I think that's a really huge thing when someone opens up to you and trusts you. So I think that's an amazing thing. Like when someone opens up to me and they're vulnerable, I really admire their bravery when they do that. And so I'm just coming from a place of being really grateful that they trusted me with this. And if it's something that I've never gone through, or something that's a whole new thing for me, my default is just to like listen to everything they want to say. And at some point, like if I have questions, I might ask a question. And yeah, it also depends, like, is it my husband, or if I'm single, someone that's opening up to me, or is it a brother or a friend, or any other context. So context of your relationship also matters. But yeah, if it was appropriate, for example, with my husband now, like I would hold his hand, or I would give him a hug while he's sharing. And I would, again, this rule does apply where I wouldn't know what the exact right thing is to do. And like I can guess, like for example, I would think listening and just being so open to being there for them, yeah, I would do that. But then what if someone's gone through sexual abuse, and touching them is like the wrong thing, so that could also come up for different contexts. So I would try and, like, with my body language, communicate that I really care, like looking them in the eyes and just giving them all of my complete attention. And yeah, and I think it's absolutely okay to be like, hey, I just want to be really great at being there for you, and I just wanted to double check like what you would really appreciate in this moment, so I can take that on board, because I don't have the answers. No matter how good of a psychologist I am, I don't know. Each person is different. And even if two people went through the same experience, they can want different things from me in that moment. Even the same person, maybe in a different situation, would want a different thing. So I would always ask and double check. But I don't know, my default is really coming from a place of being grateful that they chose to share it with me, because I know this reveals a lot about them. And I think when people share the hardest things they've gone through, it's a really beautiful thing, and it's just so real and raw, and it brings people together, because it's not small talk. It's something that's shaped that person for better or for worse. And you just have so much more respect for someone to know everything they went through, and know how, like, they turned out to be a good person, or like they're treating you this well, when against all odds they could have turned into such a horrible person. And yeah, that empathy really has a beautiful place to grow in moments like that. So yeah, any follow-up questions or anything else?
No, that was great. Thank you, Kimia.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions on the floor that maybe stemmed off from this one, or in a new way? Awesome. Well, at any point, if something comes to mind, feel free to share. Another thing to keep in mind before we jump into the Reddit questions is I noticed that in some relationships, maybe, for example, if someone was cheated on in the past and they get into a new relationship, they might be extra, sensitive to everything, and it might not be real, the concerns they have, because it's just from their past. And so someone can be super accommodating to that and, just give them everything they want. And, sometimes they're not doing anything wrong, but they'll be perceived as doing something wrong just because of that history. And, that's a lot to go through. This is just an example. But if this was happening for years and it wasn't really improving, and you're never allowed to be upset or ever feel like you're upset at the other person because they're always upset, that's where it starts not being balanced or fair for the other person. You both, when you feel upset, need to be able to communicate to each other and be able to support each other. It can't just be one person upset the whole time, and it's just their emotions are more important than yours. Or, well, if you bring something up, well, they just bring something up at you and get defensive and throw something back. So that's a sign of a healthy relationship, when both people can communicate when they're upset and have it be heard and not have it deflected back to the other person. So that's also something, one of the skills that I teach is to notice who got upset first. And this is quite hard to do because usually one thing stems off another thing and we just deflect so quickly as humans. So it's really important to kind of just take a step back and realize, like, who communicated they were upset first. And so, just they've done studies on this. When their heart rate is over 100, or if they're really fit, over 80, there's a less than 10% chance that they can resolve conflict. And that has nothing to do with who's right or wrong. It's just we're not in a mental state that can communicate things in a way that we can resolve things. So if you notice that you're getting really riled up, or the other person is really riled up, just taking a 20-minute break and distracting yourself with something that's not the issue, and then coming back, telling the person, like, we're going to resolve this, we're going to come back, but I just need to take a 20-minute break, distract, come back, and your odds of resolving the conflict just go through the roof, with chances of it going much better. So that's one element of it. But if you practice the rule of who got upset first, for example, if my husband got upset first about me eating the last piece of cake in the fridge, and he comes up to me and he's like,
I'm upset just thinking about it.
Yeah, there you go. So channel that. So imagine you eat your partner's last piece of cake and they come up to you and they would say, Arman, what would you say?
Why you bully me?
Yeah, so, okay. All right. Okay. So then I would be like, okay, he got upset. And then I'd be like, why are you upset?
No, it wouldn't go like that. It'd be like, babes, why'd you eat the last piece of cake? You'd be like, oh yeah? Well, you ate the last cookie a week ago.
Yes, that's me being deflective. But if I wasn't being deflective and I was practicing the first rule of who got upset first, then I would be like, okay, he got upset first that I ate the last piece of cake. And I would be like, again, I don't assume I know what he needs to feel better. So I'm going to be like, you're right. I ate the last piece of cake. My bad. I shouldn't have done that. I should have run it by you. I don't know. What is it in the situation that you want? Yeah, I don't know. I can obviously take this on board in the future and, like, we can come up with a system, but what do you want from this situation?
I need another cake.
Okay, see, I wouldn't have guessed that one, but so what, same cake or new cake, or like?
I'm open to both.
Both? Same or new? Okay, well, what kind of, yeah, I'm just saying, like, you get real specific. I can assume he wants the same cake again, but see, he might want a different cake. And, like, he might feel better if I got him a different cake. So, like,
get me a cookie cake, please.
Okay, cookie cake. There we go. It comes out. So now I'm like, sure thing. I can get you a cookie cake. And yeah, like, in the future, to avoid this problem, like, do you want me to ask you before eating the last cake slice, or, like, do I just assume it's yours if it's for your birthday? I don't know.
You could just preemptively buy two.
Just buy 2 cakes as a general rule.
I wouldn't be opposed.
What if I ate the last slice of both cakes?
You ate the last slice of both cakes?
What if I do that?
I think it would be okay because you got 2 cakes.
Oh, really?
I'm just astounded.
Okay, well, I am capable of eating 2 slices. Okay, so there we go. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but at the very beginning, when he was really upset that I ate the last piece of cake, my first response to when he said that was, "You're right." He got upset about something I did, and I validated it, and I said, "You're right." And that diffuses conflict so quickly, like, quicker than you can ever imagine, when someone's mad and you say that, and they're just like, "What? I'm right? Like, what?" And yeah, it just really changes the dynamic of the conflict. And so from there, I was like, okay, he needs a cookie cake. Maybe we get 2 cakes in the future. Maybe I just don't eat the last slice of cake. So now, I can fix it. And then once, we've solved his cake situation, if I'm upset that, I don't know, he hasn't done the laundry or didn't pick me up on time, I can bring that up next. But imagine if I redid the situation and he was like, you ate my last piece of cake. And I'd be like, well, you took 20 minutes to pick me up today. That was so not cool. And now we've got 2 people angry, and it's really hard to resolve conflict with.
And no cake.
And no cake. There you go. It's really hard to resolve conflict
with no cake.
With no cake when 2 people are upset. So it's much easier to fix the first person that got upset first and then tackle the second one once the first person calmed down enough to play the solving role for the other person. So that's a really helpful skill to keep in mind when you're trying to resolve conflict. But again, don't assume you know what they want to feel better. Unless you know the person for a really long time and they've told you all these things from before and you've practiced them, then maybe I would say, okay, you probably got a good understanding. But even then, please always don't go to, was it Assumption Alley? We don't want to be in Assumption Alley, guys. It's dark, it's scary, we get things wrong over there. So Innovation Highway is where we're at. Let's jump in with practicing these things with actual questions. So I really tried to find questions that had external issues, but it was a little hard to find on Reddit, but I did my best. Scoured through a lot of situations. Okay, so we have a 30-year-old female and a 35-year-old male. And the subject of the issue is, I infuriate my fiance every time I have an issue. And they give us a little bit of background. And they say, every time I have an issue and try to talk to my fiance about it, he blows up. It's like I'm not allowed to have problems or things that bother me. Because if I show any sign of attitude or I try to talk to him about anything negative, he gets infuriated. He starts taking jabs at me and same things over and over, no matter how many times I tell him it hurts my feelings. Putting down my family, saying I'm impossible to make happy, that I always complain, etc. It's like I can't ever have a problem because it becomes a knockout, drag out fight. I feel like I can never have a problem or issue without my fiance blowing up and making me feel horrible. Okay, so this is right in the thick of everything. It seems like they've tried a lot of things. It goes horribly wrong every time they try. And now this person is at this point in their relationship. So let's say this was one of your friends and you've been to a couple of these Twitter spaces and you're like, I might know something, or I'm going to at least try to help my friend out. Where do you think you guys would start? Who wants to take the leap of faith and give anything they think they can offer that might help? Oh, Simone, I see you. Okay, let me quickly accept. Go for it, Simone. How do you think? Oh, wow.
Or need that space to deal with it, just so they can get by. But I think longer term, they need to have a proper sit down, and the guy should understand how she kind of feels and needs to kind of express her problems sometimes, and maybe how they can work through it. Like, I think it comes through compromise, like understanding each other. And there's a lot of things you can't perfectly figure out, but talking about it helps. So I would suggest that.
Yeah, amazing. So trying to get frustrations out in a different way, and then being able to have a conversation about what the dynamic of what's going on. Simone, what did you bring to the table if your friend came to you with this one?
Hello, Love Story Unicorn. Thank you. It's nice to be here for the second week, and I do appreciate Mr. Magic Man also speaking. And Mars, you and I have been on a few spaces, and I've always just caught the tail end of what you said, but I've always appreciated that, and everyone else that's listening, supporting, and your lovely husband. My husband did the same for me yesterday when I was in a short space, and he hopped on and held the space, which I thought was just adorable. I wasn't expecting him to, but yeah, thank you for all of your wonderful tips. If I go back to the one about, take a 20-minute break, that's something that I do like to practice because of just the brain just being so angry, and it just needs that 20 minutes to reset. Hubby doesn't often like that. He in the past, he'd like to want to resolve it, chase me around the house, and I'll be like, dude, I need some space. It's not going to work. Honestly, I'm already triggered, and I need that that space. So that's a work in progress, but that's something that I'll need to keep practicing for myself. So I've realised that probably in the last month, as I've pulled the onion layers, I have a lot of coping strategies, which of course is not a clean vibration. And I'm just willing to have a bit more spiritual discipline to have the energy of power to face. So instead of wanting to run and go, I can't deal with this, sometimes I'm going to have to use the power of discernment of when it is the power to face and have the courage to just ride out another 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And then that. So the part of the other question, to me, what I felt coming up was the dynamic. So not that everyone has to believe in this. This is just something that I've practiced. This, the people that are with me, especially my partner, is he'll remind me snippets of my mum and my dad. And I always say, I haven't married my mum or my dad, but there's just elements of that that need to clear up. And I know my parents did the best they could, but we're a product of a product of a product. And I know my partner's doing the best he can because I chose him, and that's what it is. So the question that you just said feels like to me more unresolved, that she's going to remind him a lot of some family history and vice versa. And that's, to me, the onion layer of why it gets a little bit raw and a little bit tricky to navigate, because the surface stuff is fine. Yeah, let's go shopping, let's do this. But it's way deeper than that.
Yeah, great noticing that it's much deeper. Like, this is not just a one-off surface level problem, just like you said. There's a lot going on. It's taken them a lot to get to this point where now they really cannot communicate with each other. And yeah, it might feel like, their parents in some aspect. I know when you were saying, your husband like chases you around somewhere, I feel like I was that person. I was the chaser person. I was like, let's resolve this now. And my husband really was like the one like running away, like I need the space. And then I just learned all these things in psychology. Like, I learned this whole like heartbeat thing like about 2 years ago, and I was like, okay, this makes sense. Like I can wait 20 minutes, so it doesn't mean like I have to wait like a day or two or something. So that seemed doable. Or like sometimes when we're arguing and my tone goes up, and my tone really affects like his feelings in the argument, and it really triggers him. And so like he'll sometimes be like, I think we should take a break because your tone is getting is, what do you say, high or harsh, or like what does my tone get if you have to put adjective?
I think harsh is fine.
Harsh is not the nicest word, but okay.
Oh, you're trying to come up with a nicer word than harsh.
I didn't think it was harsh.
I thought that was the nice word.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well my tone is a bit problematic, and
your tone is non-ideal.
My tone is not ideal, and then he brings it to he lets me know that he's like, I need a break because your tone is
your tone could be more ideal.
My tone could be more ideal, or I need a break. And then because I don't want the conversation to end, I really like take a moment and work on my tone, and then I try it out, and I'd be like, is this okay? And he's like, yes, that's much better. And then I can continue the conversation in a way that it won't freak him out. So that's something that, I had to really practice. And all of these things, I teach skills, but I still learn them too. It's a lifelong journey of learning how to be a better and better partner, just like you can be a better and better person. Same thing with your relationships, and you just keep learning and practicing. But I see Zal over here also has something that he wants to share about this one.
Sure, I was just saying, so is Simone, right? What Simone was saying is definitely applicable in my relationship as well, where I feel like I'm very much the person that wants to solve the problem immediately and figure it out, and I would rather figure it out and get on the same page and communicate in that discussion than go apart for a bit, because I'm in a long distance relationship. So for me, I don't like leaving the phone call when we're upset at each other. So because I don't know how long it's going to be, and I don't want that to be like clouding my day. So personally, there's sometimes where like I'll get off the phone with her, and then I'll kind of like realize like I'm not really too happy, and I'll call her back and be like, I wasn't too happy about this or that, and I just wanted to communicate that with you before I went around the rest of my day. But at the same time, I feel like she's always the person that's like that would like to take that minute to step back and digest the information, versus me, who's very much a attack the problem at its core person. So I feel like being able to communicate when, especially if she can communicate to me when she feels like she just needs a moment to digest the information and just to her time alone, that makes me feel a lot better that she needs her time alone as opposed to time away from me, I would say. And I think that's kind of, for me, that's the crux of that, and I really just wanted to share that.
Yeah, real stuff right there. Armin and I went through 5 years of international long distance between Australia and the United States, and this is too real. This is too real. And sometimes like I might give him a break on the call, but then we would really, really try and finish it on the call. Like we would have those really long calls. Armin, I don't know if you want to like think about those times. But
I think there was a better way to do it. I feel like a similar situation is we have a issue the day before, and then it gets to be like really late, and it's like, bro, both of us are like potatoes. Like we can't, our brains don't have enough molecules to resolve this issue right now. And not only that, but we're both getting more upset. Our brains are getting worse. It's just like a deteriorating situation. So I think something that's good to do is to be like, you could. I think it's okay to say, hey, I'm upset about this, but like it's okay. Mm-hmm. We're okay. Mm-hmm. I'm okay. Mm-hmm. Like nothing's wrong. Yes, I'm upset about this, but everything's all right. Like there's no issue. But like, man, do we really need to go to sleep? And hey, like we can figure this out later. I need to figure this out I think we should figure this out in the next day or two. But like we're good.
Yeah, that's something I had to learn a lot. That was just like I wanted things to end on as nice of a note as you realistically can, and it's like, yeah, just like if he could tell me he still loved me and like we'll work this out, and like even if you can go that extra mile and be like these problems will make our relationship stronger by being able to work them out, like then you feel like even a little more positive about it. But yeah, just realizing that you can end the call or put a pause in the situation if you make them feel like I still love you like this. I realize it's just something we need to work out, but still love you. I'll be right back, but I just need a moment. And so it's very doable to be able to resolve conflict that way. So I'm glad you brought that up. These are very real life situations that we've dealt with so firsthand. We had to learn these things. Simone, I see your hand. Go for it.
Oh, always finish off your thought, my love. You never have to get to me fast. And thank you for your husband's and your other friends' contribution. It's just really beautiful. Probably what brings up to me though is that again, I'm still learning this. So what I've realised is that when I do get triggered, is I have a trauma response. But the thing is, though, my partner, of course, wasn't there when I was growing up, and he does not know 100% what my trauma responses are. So that's what I'm learning to navigate with, is knowing when I get triggered and knowing that trauma response. But also as well is I need to know how to self-soothe myself, as well as I'd like my partner to know how to self-soothe himself, that in that moment of 20 minutes when we're not talking to each other, we're, trying to get all that ego and arrogancy out, because I really appreciate, love. I'm just going to call you love because it's easier than is, and you are love, and we all are love. Is we both have a very sweet tone on here. Like you can tell that we're both very caring, gentle people. But I do appreciate when hubby was saying is like your tone, and that's exactly what happens. Is he absolutely gets triggered by my tone. So I really appreciate. I've just written those notes. Is just checking in if that's okay, because I know when he gets very heady, and I'm demanding, going, can you please come back? Can you please come back into your heart? But yeah, it's definitely that self-soothing that. In that moment, of course, everyone wants to address it, heal it. It's going to be okay, but we're all triggered. It's too hard. And I know when my mum, when I was growing up, she'd always want to hug me and touch me. That's the last thing I'd want. And I find it, my partner wants to hug me, and I'm like, because to me, the hug validates like everything's okay. And it's like, it's not okay. And I'm not okay in this moment. Can I reset? And then, yes, I'd love to have a hug, but he wants a hug. So anyway, I feel like I'm blurting out a bit too much.
No,
but
I think not at all. This is all so good. And I'm so glad everyone's hearing it. Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
You guys are so sweet, and I mean this sincerely. I'm glad it is recorded, because whether I listen, no, I'll definitely listen back to it, and whether he'll listen back to it, it's very learning. Because sometimes when we get really heightened, I'm like, "Hey, dude, I want to start recording this because honestly, it's so heightened." No, it's not. I'm like, it is heightened, and I swear to God, your tone and my tone. So, I feel that this will be a very gentle space. So, thank you, everyone.
Yeah, of course.
And Simone, I just want to empathize with you. I'm the similar way with touch. Like when I get like really upset at Kimia, we get really upset at each other. She'd like come in for a hug or something, and like touch is just the last thing I want, and I would pull away, and that would make her feel even more upset. So yeah, now the classic is I'll just touch her with my pinky finger, or just a single finger, and yeah, that's about all I can do after 4 or 5 years of marriage. I should know how many years. Don't even.
No, you're right. It's about a bit over 4.5. So you're good. Yeah, but it's true. I was going to bring that one up too. Yeah. And like for me, like I had an abusive father, and when he would curse, he would say the F word. Like it was just very sudden. It was out of nowhere, and usually like violence came after that. And so, Armand doesn't. I don't curse. Armand usually doesn't curse, but sometimes like it comes out, and I get scared, and then like he's already mad about something, and then I'm having this reaction, and he like has to comfort me and comfort himself at the same time. But because I have that trauma history, like that gets triggered. So like I need to be aware of that. But sometimes I'm like, it's okay, I get it. Like, you know, and then like I try and self-soothe, but he also knows what's going on with me. He fixes himself first, and then like makes sure I'm okay. And like, but yeah, those things do get triggered. So it's good to know what is triggering you at different times. A lot of the times, maybe it doesn't make sense, but it's still good to try and figure out and notice when you get upset about things, because you're allowed to feel however you feel, no matter what feeling it is. But it's how you react that is, you know, you can't go around slapping people, for example, you know, but you can have every right to feel embarrassed or mad or disrespected. All of those things are feelings, so those are okay. But yeah, we always have a choice of how to show them. So in this situation, Armand, are you up for, or Matt, I don't know, whoever's on the floor, any man on this platform? So let's recap this problem. So I feel like I can never have a problem or issue without my fiance blowing up and making me feel horrible. So let's say this is my relationship, and I listen to this. I'm like, okay, I feel a little more out there trying to make my relationship better. I'm going to give this a go. And I need someone to be my fiance who's going to blow up in my face as soon as I try and say something.
I'm trying my hardest.
Okay, you got this. Channel your inner. Okay. All right. So I'm going to approach you in the living room. Okay. I'm about to start. Okay. You ready? Okay. Hey, is this a good time I can talk to you about something important?
Babes, you know, I just got home from work. I just wanna watch the game right now. Pop a cold one open.
Okay.
I'm a man.
Okay. All right. All right. Is after the game a good time to speak to you?
Fine.
Okay. Reconvene. I'm gonna like let him have his moment with his like TV, or he's gonna be extra mad. So I'll let him have his moment, watch his game, and then, you know, he's had like a bit of time, maybe 5 minutes after the game, and I come up to him and I'm like, okay, I'd really love to have the conversation now. Can we chat about it?
Oh, but like basketball's on now.
No, I think this is really important to me, and we really need to have a chat. I've waited now the whole football game, and I really need you to kind of listen to where I'm at.
I mean, like, I had like a really hard day at work, and man, like, I just need this. Like, why are you always just on my case? Just like let me relax.
Okay, I understand you need to feel like you relax, but I've been feeling this way for 6 months now, and so it's really built up, and I really need to let it out. I'm open to hearing, you know, what happened to you today, and, you know, be there for you too, but I really need to get this out first. So something that I've really noticed that bothers me is every time I bring something up.
Wait, I have to go to the bathroom.
All right, but I'm going to be right here when you get back. This is not something we can avoid. We've been avoiding it for 6 months.
We haven't been avoiding it. It sounds like you've been avoiding it.
You're right.
It's not my problem.
Okay, I have not brought this up and taken this seriously.
Dang right you haven't.
Okay, go to the bathroom and come back. Okay.
Okay.
You're back.
I'm back.
All right. So, you know, you're my fiance now, and I feel like I can never be upset without you blowing up at me. And I just want to be able to...
You can't be upset. You're just like upset all the time. I just can't even get a single moment of peace. It's just...
Yeah, and that's exactly what I want to address. So I want you to be able to have some time to be able to vent when you, or like whatever you need from me. And I want to be able to also feel like I can share what's bothering me. I think it's really healthy for us to both feel like we can do that.
Here, why don't you watch the basketball game with me? It'll make you feel better.
Will it make you feel better if I do that?
I don't know. They just stop talking.
Okay. What do you need when you feel upset from me?
I just need some peace and quiet.
For how long?
As long as possible.
Give me a number.
I don't know, like until we go to bed or something. Like sometimes it's just hard.
Yeah. Okay. If I can give you that, because now I know that's what you need to kind of just chill until you go to bed, are you open to hearing what I need when I'm upset?
Okay.
Okay, I feel like this is a breakthrough, but okay, I appreciate this. So I really need for you to, you know, I'm upset about some things. A lot of the times it's not even related to you. I'm just like upset about something that happened to me. And like, for example, I can put a timer on for 10 minutes where you just listen to me. You don't have to say anything. Just hold my hand and listen. And at the end of it, just give me a hug and say thank you for sharing. And everything's going to be okay, and just let me know if you need anything. How do you feel about that?
Can I like watch basketball while I do that?
No. 10 minutes of uninterrupted, just looking into my eyeballs time.
And you said like I can have like days where like I can just do whatever I want after I come home when I'm stressed out.
You can have till when you go to bed. I think that's reasonable. The next day is like a whole new day.
Okay. All right.
All right. Thank you. This is good for us.
I tried to be as unreasonable as
Oh,
possible.
you did good. You did good.
I don't know how unreasonable I was.
Oh, you're good. We can't drag this out too long. Okay. So, some people are really difficult, and this is staged, obviously, but you're going to face pushback, and you're going to have some good responses to stay on track with what you're trying to convey. And especially like in this story, this has been happening over and over again. And no matter how many times this has happened, it hasn't changed. So just keep in mind that if you're in a situation where this has happened like multiple times, it's going to be kind of hard to change the pattern of how things go. And that's normal, and that's okay. But you just got to be that extra bit stronger to be able to push through some like dumb things that you have to push through to still get across that you want to change like a whole pattern of behavior. But it's very doable. It's not impossible. Yeah, just hopefully that was helpful in some way for you guys. Let's try and practice being there for our partner when they're in pain with a new situation. So 18-year-old female, 26-year-old. Okay, there's a few different ages here. So this situation is framed in the mother talking, but we're going to take on the perspective of the daughter in the situation. So I'll clarify more in a bit, but the question is, my daughter does not want to study or work like her sister and wants to be a housewife like her other sister. Was I wrong for saying that to my 18-year-old who is trying to follow successful sister? So let's imagine with a boyfriend situation, and we know that this 18-year-old girl indicated to us that life, and she loves kids, and that's really her passion in life, and that makes her happy. Like family is everything to her, and she's not really looking for. Oh, I see a hand, Simone.
Thank you, lovely. I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt, but I do need to go, and I just want to really be respectful by that. So that last example, that was great that you were able to hold your ground. And I know that sometimes when we are in discussions with our partner, it will get way more heightened than that. But that was more than enough. His role playing. So I enjoyed the questions that you probed to him, because you could feel a softening, and you could feel an opening. So I've always wanted to do that also as well with the 10 minutes, just to be heard, so then there's no interruption. I really like that. Put the timer on. But my final thoughts is, instead of just pointing the finger to him or anyone going, you triggered me, I now just come with that energy and going, well, how did I trigger them? Like I brought this energy into this conversation, into this home, and I'll always just check my thoughts, and my thoughts will always be of judgment. It will always be of judgment. So once I sort of, soften that, then it takes that responsibility. So thank you, lovely people. Thank you so much. What a beautiful holding space, and what lovely listening audiences and participant that you have. And thank you, Mr. Magic Man, for stepping in. And I'm sorry if I've spoken too much. May you be able to continue to have fun. And
of course,
thank you for your generosity. I look forward to coming next week. And I knew that I heard that Australian accent last week. I'm so glad you clarified that you lived in Melbourne, because I'm like, there's an accent there. And I know we've all got accents of some sort, but many blessings, everyone. Thank you so much for your hospitality and just your warmth and kindness and compassion as we just have that relationship with ourselves and relationships with others. So blessings.
Have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much for coming. Great input, honestly. And I think she's, been married for 25 years, so she's bringing so much wisdom to this space, which we always appreciate. So thank you. All right, let's jump back into this specific question. So you have you have a girlfriend, and, she's like super happy with being a housewife and loves family, and, she's not really career oriented, and this about her. And so her mom has now said to her, why are you trying to follow in the footsteps of, one of your sisters that's just like a housewife? Why don't you be like your other sister who's successful and things like that? And so your girlfriend is venting to you about what her mother said. So this is something that could come up in a relationship. What do you do as a boyfriend? Who wants to kind of take a guess? Mr. Magic Man, if you had a girlfriend who you knew this is how she feels and you've accepted this about her, and her mom's like saying this to her, and you just walked in the door and she's like, can you believe what my mom just said to me? And you just like, you've just come home from work or the grocery store or anywhere, and you're just faced with this and you need to figure out what to do. Mr. Magic Man, what do you do?
Dude, I'm not good at confrontation. Like, honestly, if I was in that situation, I'd be like, I need 10, 20 minutes. And like put on the like hype, energetic music like I'm going to the gym. And it's just me and a blank paper trying to figure out what to say and like the plan. So yeah, I would probably like put myself in a place where I can react to it properly and logically. Yeah, so I would do that. And then I would come out and then I would, dude, I don't know how to like regulate negotiations or I'd be like, dude, I don't know, especially with like parents and their kids. Like I would like, she's happy just the way she is. She doesn't need to like feel like a be anything more than like a housewife if that's all she wants. And then, but yeah, it's a bit awkward stepping in between like a other family dynamic. But then I'd be like, where did I don't know if I would say this, but I'd be like, where did you feel like you wanted your daughter to be like this? Or like, is this maybe something that you've maybe neglected or something? Dude, I think with this one, I'd be a bit lost to be honest.
That's okay. That's okay. Okay. So I feel like, okay, so when you walk in the door, it's just your girlfriend. The mom's not there. So it's just you and your girlfriend. Would it change how you would react in any way?
I would comfort her and be like, yeah, that kind of sucks that your mom wants you to be different when you're happy just the way you are. And then I'll be like, I can see your true colors. I don't know, I just lift the mood and be like, that sucks,
This
so
is so
reaffirm that
powerful.
emotion. And then it cuts to like a High School Musical scene and we sing a song.
What
Yeah, I
if
think I
your
yeah.
girlfriend reacts and it's like, how dare you like break into like singing? I'm so upset. Like, can't you tell that I'm upset? Why are you singing and making light of the situation?
We're all in this.
What would you do? What would you do?
Dude, that was a nice one, Arman. Well done. I'd be like, sorry, I guess I must have read the situation wrong. My bad.
No
How did you want
aprendes.
to talk about this?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Wait, what was the very last thing you said?
Like, how do you want to move forward with this?
Okay, that's what I've been trying to get you to do. Okay, so the main
Okay,
lesson from today's thing,
we learned it, please.
the number one lesson I was teaching you guys is don't be an assumption alley. And you don't need to have like an amazing logical plan to go out with. If you don't know how to react, it's fine. For example, if we were to redo this and I'm the boyfriend that walks home, and as soon as I open the door, she's like, can you, like, I have to tell you what my mom said. Like, I'm so mad, I'm fuming. And then in my head, I got to figure out, okay, like she's upset, and I can, like, if she's just starting to talk, I can listen. But if I don't know what I'm doing, I would be like, hey, just before you jump in any further, I just want to double check like what you need from me in this moment while you're upset. So you just ask the question as quickly as possible if you're not sure. And maybe my girlfriend is going to be like, I just need to like vent for 5 minutes, and then I would love to go get ice cream together. And I'd be like, cool, I know what to do now. Like, that's awesome. I would have never guessed she wanted ice cream. I would have never guessed that this would only go for 5 minutes. It started so crash hot, I thought this would go for 2 hours. And, now you're just approaching the situation in a really targeted, correct way. And you would have never known that unless you asked. And, if you are the person that's, angry, it's really helpful for you to know what you want in the situation so they can do it for you. Maybe a lot of people would be like, I don't know what I want. I just want you to be there for me. And it's like, what does that mean? It's okay to not know what that means. That's not really any specific information we know what to do with. So, if someone's like, I just want you to be there for me, like I would push back and be like, does that mean just listening to you for like however long you take, or like does that mean holding your hand? Like, I would just probe them with like maybe things that they may need to help them to be able to verbalize what it is they specifically need. So it's actually a huge skill and such a helpful skill in a relationship to know what you need in different moments and be able to communicate that, because a lot of the time your partner is willing to do the thing you need, they just don't know what it is, or you can't verbalize what it is. So even since doing these like podcasts with my husband and my brothers, like their vocabulary of being able to communicate what they need now is so much better. Like they can just be like that thing, or like, I don't know, in 2 weeks they might be telling me about Assumption Alley, and I will be like, yeah, you're right. So it really helps to be able to verbalize those things that you're feeling, and a lot of us don't really develop that side of us, and we feel all these things and we can't communicate it and we can't say what we need, and then it just becomes so much more complicated because people are just assuming what we may need, and they can be very easily wrong. Any questions, any comments, any stories, anything before we move on to the last Reddit question for the night? Awesome. Great to see some of the people in the crowd. Django, welcome. The Wild Guardians, welcome. Mars, welcome. All of these people, thank you for being here. Okay, let's jump into the last one for the night. Okay, so this is a 23-year-old male and a 26-year-old female. And the subject line is, my sister announced to me that my nephew's christening is the same day I promised my girlfriend to go to Disneyland with. And let's say we're the girlfriend that's upset about hearing this in the situation. So they do give us a bit of background on it. So they say, last August, I promised my girlfriend to go to Disneyland with her, and she got tickets that are non-exchangeable, and it has my name on it. However, yesterday my sister announced to me that my nephew has his christening next month in October. Unfortunately, it happens to be the same day I'm supposed to go to Disneyland, and the trip is already planned and paid. I told my sister that as she isn't a religious person, she's fine with me not coming, but as my nephew's godfather, I feel awful that I can't go to his christening. Still, I don't want to let my girlfriend down. Okay. I'm like, okay, let's be the boyfriend in this situation. I feel like that's more fun. Okay. Zal, I heard you react.
I was just saying that's a tough situation to be in. That's like being between a rock and a hard place, and you're definitely disappointing someone, and you kind of have to decide who you're going to disappoint. The one plus side of it is my thought of the way you answer the question and the plus side is that, it's for your godson's christening. That is a once in a lifetime event. And money can be replaced, like the trip. But at the same time, you did commit to your girlfriend that you would go on this trip before it was announced. So you kind of have the, I think, ability to either way, whichever way you choose, justify the reasoning to the other person. You just have to be able to communicate that well, because either way, you're gonna upset someone.
Okay, let's do this one. So, okay, I'm gonna be the girlfriend in the situation.
Okay.
And you just got this news. Your sister just texted you like, hey, just like pick the christening day. It's on like October 23rd, and you're like, crap. And the girlfriend's right here, and you have to break the news. Like, yeah. So I'm
choosing to go to the christening. I have to choose.
No,
Okay.
you can choose anything you want, but like let's play it out. So you find out. I don't know yet. You're about to tell me.
And you're the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay. Call ends.
Okay.
Hi, how's it going? I got some interesting, exciting, potentially news. Are you interested in hearing it right now?
Yeah, it sounds great. I'm excited to hear what you're going to tell me.
So, I know we planned this amazing trip together, and I really want to go on that. But this opportunity to... Oh, no, that's definitely the wrong way to go about it. I apologize. I'm going to rewind.
Okay.
So, it's a christening, was it?
Yeah.
My godson is having his christening in the next few weeks, but unfortunately, it happens to coincide with our trip to Disney. And I just
know they were religious. When they're not even religious, and now you're like a godfather. This makes no sense.
Yeah, I understand that, and I really want to go on this trip with you, but I also do feel like there's this inherent commitment to them that while we have paid for this trip, and I know you're really excited for this trip, there is an opportunity to go to Disneyland in the future, and unfortunately, this opportunity is only going to come once in a lifetime, and I feel for my godson, and I feel like we should at least take that into consideration when we decide how we want to go about deciding where we want to go.
Yeah, I was like mad at the beginning, but then he started saying we, and then like we should decide together, and I like calmed down a bit. So that was really good. I just want to point that out because I thought you'd made the decision for us, and I was so mad. I was like, okay, but this is not as bad because we're going to talk about it. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know. I think you just found out, and you just told me as quickly as possible. Like, I'm super mad. I was so excited about this all year, and then your sister just decides to do this. Like, is there any chance you can like pick literally the next day, or can you like zoom in or something?
Why don't we see if that's a possibility and attack this problem in the near future? But I'm glad we got to this point that we've conversed about it, and now maybe we can take a day to think about it.
Okay, but I'm still like quite upset.
That sucks. My sister sucks. She's a bad person.
Yes, she does suck. Well done. Okay, I will let him off the court because he remembered that I appreciate smack talk. I had told you all that I appreciate smack talk when I don't feel good about
I just
something.
realized you'd be so happy if you were like, I can't believe my sister.
I
She
would.
scheduled her stupid son's christening on our Disney trip. She knew we were going to Disney.
Oh my gosh.
Like, oh my
I
God.
would feel so appreciative of
Are you
that.
kidding me?
I'd be like, right?
Is she even religious?
Thank you. And so like that's really
Go with me,
important.
please.
Yeah, and like we can work it out. But the main thing I was trying to get him to get to was to ask me what I need to feel better about the situation. But because he knew how I would feel better about the situation and literally did it, you had a prior history to do that. So well done. That was well executed. But yeah, whenever you're confused or lost, or you're like, oh crap, this is so bad, or like, I've ruined everything, or something else has ruined everything really bad. Like just be like, you have every right to feel upset or like angry or mad. What do you need from me right now? How can I make you feel better in this situation? Because we do not know. Saul could have like talked to me for 2 hours and I would have been just as mad maybe, or even madder. And like that little difference just shifted my mood so much, and I felt like heard and validated. And now I'm like more open to talk to you like a more logical person because I feel like you understand me. And that was just that little bit of a difference because he had that information about me prior. And it's not easy to tell someone you appreciate smack talk. Like it's not a flattering thing to say, but it's very helpful for someone to know. Like I honestly felt better, and it's like because I was transparent with that. So yeah,
I'll say something too.
Yeah.
But while I did know that there's a time and a place, right, for everything, so that might be for Kimia what helps her, and you might think and assume what that is, but in different times and different situations, there's always the possibility that that person wants something different. So there's always that.
Yeah, like imagine like I don't know, my mom's sick and she's like, I don't know, something bad happened, and then Arman's talking smack about my mom. It's like, no, that's not appropriate to be doing it at that time. And like if you think something was right and you do it, and then you see like I'm not reacting the way I normally react, just be like, hey, like usually this works, but you're like you don't feel like it doesn't look like it's helping you. I just wanted to check in. Is this what you need right now, or do you need something else from me? And then I would be like, no, this is very inappropriate right now. I just need a hug. Like it's a 5-minute hug or something, and it could be different. So great point that he brought up. That was our last question for the night. Was there any questions, any comments, any stories, anything at all anyone wanted to share about this topic or about another topic? This is the floor for you guys. I just want to give you guys as much value as possible being here. That's the whole point of this. We also bring humor into it because I think one of the best ways we can learn is when we're having fun. And yeah, we're all learning, and sometimes we can take all this really seriously, but we're all a little crazy, as I was telling Saul today. So we can all just take ourselves a little less seriously and learn. So yeah, anything anyone wants to say, I'll just give you guys a moment.
No, it was good. I think I like the part where you just listen to the person. Like, it's not hard. There's no, like, you don't need to do, like, Sherlock Holmes trying to figure out you can just ask them. And that's, like, the cheat code. So, that was a good takeaway. I'll remember. Thanks for that. Yeah, don't be caught in Assumption Alley. That's what I'll remember.
It's a good one. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. All right. Well, with that, then, is there anything else anyone wants to say? I'll just give them a moment to. Thank you. Appreciate the claps. Awesome. All right. Well, I will catch you all next week. Same time, new topic. If there's any topic you want me to cover or think would be good, please message me. I always appreciate it. And the whole point is to be talking about topics that would actually give you guys value. So anything at all, I'm open to it. Just text me. And yeah, we can go from there. And wishing you all the love life of your dreams. And yeah, have a great week ahead. Bye, everyone.